Let me ask you something real quick. Have you been thinking about buying a home, but tell yourself, I'm just going to wait until spring? Well, if you are, this video might just change how you look at the market. Today, I'm going to sit down and give you real charts, data, and trends that show you that January might actually be the best time to purchase a home, especially if you're trying to stay on a budget. And no, this isn't hype. This is math. What's up, everyone? Stephen L. Skakandi here with the Skakandi Group and living in and around Jacksonville, North Carolina. And every day we help people just like you, sellers and buyers alike, that are looking to buy, sell, or invest in Onslow County, North Carolina. And if you're new to this channel, okay, we talk about real estate, we talk about relocation, we talk about market updates. No fluff, no scare tactics, real information to help you make smarter decisions. And if you're thinking about selling, buying, or investing here, whether it be in 9 days or 9 months, guess what? Give us a call, give us a shout, send us a text, write us an email. My team and I would love to help you. All right, here is what I'm going to talk about today. Why most buyers think the spring is actually the best time, what the numbers actually say about January, how price, competition, and negotiation power change seasonally, and finally, how buyers are quietly winning in this market while others are waiting. Heck, I'm even going to throw up some charts so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Let's start with the biggest misconception in real estate. Most people assume that buying in the spring is the best time. They assume this because more homes are on the market. And while it's true, especially in our area of Onslow County and Jacksonville, North Carolina, traditionally more homes have come on the market in spring. Why? PCS season or permanent change of station season. Most military people are spring and summer movers. That part's true. But as we've seen since 2020, our market's becoming more diversified. More people are coming throughout the year. But that aside, let's get back to the problem with spring. Yes, more homes are on the market. Another reason that people think that spring is the best time is that the weather is better. That's true. Although we are very blessed in Eastern North Carolina that we have a more temperate climate. Generally speaking, we don't get a lot of snow and the weather's nicer year round. And the final reason is it just feels good, emotionally speaking, because everybody else is doing it. Well, here's the problem with that, okay? When everybody jumps in the market at the same time, what happens to pricing? It explodes. So when you have more buyers, one of the things you're looking at multiple offer scenarios, or at least more multiple offer scenarios. Higher sales prices because there's more intense competition. There's fewer seller concessions, and why not? If the sellers have more offers to choose from, why do they have to accept more concessions? And finally, more stress for you, the buyer. Spring feels good emotionally, absolutely, no doubt. But financially, it's most often the most expensive time to purchase a home. Now, let's talk about January. According to LendingTree, historically, January is the least expensive time to purchase a home. And this chart shows exactly why. January consistently shows one of the lowest costs per square foot points of the entire year. Okay. Why is this? Well, simply put, there's fewer active buyers in the market. Sellers that put their home on the market during this time are typically more serious. And of course, there's just less emotional competition. So when there's not a lot of competition, who wins? Well, the buyers do. The buyers win when there's less competition. And this isn't speculation. This is just based on market fact. So at this point, a lot of buyers say, I'm going to wait till spring when prices come down. But historically, prices don't come down in spring. They actually go up. Just look at this chart right here. You're going to notice something else interesting as you look at this chart. You're going to see that prices often bottom out in the winter, and then they start to climb as demand increases as the year goes on. So while spring feels safer, January is often where the value actually is. Now let's talk about something buyers love, leverage. In January, buyers are more likely to get seller paid closing costs, maybe some repair credit or even repairs, reduction in price, and flexible closing timelines. And why is that? Well, once again, because it's January and sellers that list in January are serious. Homes also tend to sit longer in the winter time, which means buyers have the ability to negotiate more. As a matter of fact, I just used this to my and my buyer's advantage in Carolina plantations in Jacksonville. We had a situation where it was the winter time. The home was sitting on the market for a longer period of time. And the sellers were willing to entertain closing expenses. And in comparison to other homes that had recently sold out there, we got more closing costs than those other homes. And not just by a few $1,000s, but by more. And that was because that home had sat for a longer period of time and the sellers were ready to negotiate more for my buyers. So it worked out brilliantly. So again, these are not just ideas that are untested. I've actually proven these ideas in deals and transactions that I have done over my long career. So why does this matter in Jacksonville? Why does it matter in Onslow County? Well, it's especially important in Jacksonville and Onslow County because we're a military-driven market. Now, we've had more civilians move in since 2020 with everything that happened there. However, we're still a military-driven market. And that means that PCS moves. The permanent change of station timelines don't stop in winter. Sellers still need to move, okay? And inventory doesn't magically disappear. The inventory continues to be there, okay? So in fact, winter buyers face less competition than they will in just a few months because people are starting to prepare after Christmas, after the new year. I see it happen every year where there are people that know they're going to get orders in the spring and the summer. They want to start their look at least initially online then. And they're going to get house hunting leave in the springtime. So everybody's going to be competing at the same time. So if you're using VA loans, which are government-backed financing loans, which offer no money down options. Now, no money down does not mean you don't have to pay anything out of pocket. It just means that traditional 20% down or 10% down is not an option or not necessary. FHA loans, which are Federal Housing Administration loans, other government-backed loans, but they have a reduced down payment, or maybe even USDA loans, the old Rural Development Program, the loans that were made for folks that wanted to live in a more rural setting. And there's a lot of areas in Jacksonville and Onslow County that are considered prime examples of being able to use that USDA loan, which is a great program. Or maybe you just want to stay in budget. If any of that fits you, January can definitely give you a strategic advantage. Now, I've often been asked, do I think everybody should buy in January? And am I starting a new craze or a new thing that should be in vogue? And let me be very clear with that and say that no, I don't think it's for everybody. One of the things you're going to get when you work with a seasoned professional like me to represent you in probably the largest transaction of your life is perspective. Okay. I'm going to give you what I call the good, the bad, the ugly, and you have to make the command decision. I might say a time or two, what now, Lieutenant? Now that you have the information, what are you going to do? And that's just because of my military background. And in the Marine Corps, the change is truly forever. Having said that, okay, I'm not forcing home buying. I'm not forcing home selling. I'm giving you options. And my options are based on your situation. Okay. I believe your finances should make sense. That is of primary importance. Does it make sense for you to buy, to sell, or to invest? And that's a complicated question in and of itself. And that's why I'm going to help you interpret that data and those numbers. The next thing I would ask is, hey, is your job situation squared away? Do you have paper orders yet? Or are they just web orders? Or if you're a civilian, are you in a position where your job is going to let you possibly work remotely? Okay. And finally, I want to know that your plans are clear. Okay. So much of what we do, we have to look at it clearly and concisely and ask ask ourselves this question, okay? Does this jive with our plans? Are they clear? Now, if you're already thinking about buying or selling and your answer to all the above is, I'm just going to wait until spring because I can, then that deserves another look at your situation. And we have to go back to the information I provided and see if it makes sense. So here's the bottom line. Renting feels easier, waiting feels safer, but the informed buyer wins. If you're curious what buying could look like for you personally, pricing, payments, neighborhoods, or timing, reach out to us. Call, text, or email anytime. No pressure, no sales pitch, just real answers that you can use to make the best of your decision and make the best decision for your future and your family's future. I am Stephen Skikandi with the Skikandi Group at Living in and around Jacksonville, North Carolina, and I look forward to working with you, whether you're looking to buy, sell, or invest within 9 days or 9 months. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.